In 2019, the San Diego Police Department's procedure for a carotid restraint was that they should be applied no longer than 15 seconds. In December of that year, Officer Dylan Fuston held one for 38 seconds. Police body camera shows another officer telling Fuston to stop, but he kept going.
Go ahead, let him go.
The man he stopped doesn't know why officers want him in handcuffs. Fuston doesn't introduce himself or tell the man why they want to question him. According to police documents, the man tried to headbutt Fuston.
Cooperate.
Stop.
Pull your hands back.
No. Stop.
Put your hands back.
Stop.
Internal Affairs investigators said that Fuston's chokehold created a substantial risk for bodily injury. But we don't know if Fuston was disciplined at all. Earlier this year, the San Diego Police Department made 93 misconduct cases available to the public. Every case was investigated by Internal Affairs, and investigators concluded that officers did something wrong. But 1/3 of those cases, including Fuston's, don't have any disciplinary records. That doesn't actually mean that these officers were not disciplined. It just means we don't have the records. There are multiple reasons why the public doesn't have access to those records. Retired La Mesa police captain Dan Willis says that there may not be a paper trail because the punishment was not severe.
The most reasonable explanation is it was less than formally handled. Like maybe the guy had to take a class. Maybe he had to do some different training. Maybe, he just got scolded by the lieutenant.
San Diego Police Captain Jeff Jordan oversees the records department. He didn't make anyone available for an interview, but he did respond to questions via email. Jordan says that the police department has different retention periods for different disciplinary actions. For example, the department keeps written warning for 2 years before deleting them. That explains missing discipline records for older cases, but not for newer ones. David Loy is the legal director for the First Amendment Coalition. He says another reason for missing records is that officers quit or retired before they got in trouble.
Historically, that has been somewhat of a common loophole where officers might resign to avoid a finding or avoid some disciplinary sanction.
Whatever the reason for the missing discipline, we know that Fuston left the force in 2022 and now works for the Sheriff's Department. It's unclear why he left and what, if any, disciplinary records the Sheriff's Department had access to. They say they checked personnel files and history from previous employers. This lack of accountability creates tension between the San Diego Police Department and communities of color. Abraham Jarvis has several open complaints against SDPD officers. He's only 18 years old and has already lost count of how many times he's been pulled over.
I'll say like approximately like 14 to 15 times. Yeah.
It's gotten to the point that he's afraid to drive.
I would take the freeway just to go get my little brother from my auntie's house because I didn't want to take the roads where they could pull me over, you know what I'm saying? So, overall, it's been tough.
His mother, Evelia Jarvis, doesn't think the department is taking their complaints seriously. She also believes that her son would be safer from the police outside of San Diego. So Abraham is going to join the Army.
When we discussed that, I just felt, I felt it was going to be safer for him to just get out of Southeast San Diego.
Jarvis says it was a difficult decision to make.
Of course, no one wants to see their child leave, but I'm like, this is going to benefit my child. And just the fear of just knowing that anytime he's out and about, they can do anything and get away with it and ask questions later. And it is what it is, and that's it. They don't get a consequence.
She's always respected the police, but their treatment of her son has changed that. She says now she respects the ones who are doing their job, not the ones harassing her child. Gustavo Solis, KPBS News.